You won't believe the stories in the news today. The White House is planning to censor your text messages. China says the U.S. has no chance of stopping their invasion of Taiwan. And Dr. Nguyen suggests we need a reliable system to track those who have and have not been jabbed. We'll talk about all of this and more as we dedicate today's entire show to answering your questions pertaining to Bible prophecy. Do you have a question or comment? Join us by calling 1-877-363-8463. We're going to discuss the two things you're not supposed to talk about: politics and religion. Welcome to Politics and Religion. My name is Vince Stiegel. I'm here with Doug Norvell. We're very excited about today's show because it's all about what you want to talk about. Now, we do have some stories to share with you that are absolutely unbelievable, stories that you would say, I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. Those are the stories we're going to talk about here. Before we get to your calls, the number to join us is 1-877-363-8463. Doug, before we get into these stories, I want to remind everybody that Irving Baxter spent over 50 years studying Bible prophecy in the book of Revelation. And as a result, he created the most easy to understand commentary in his series and book called Revelation, The Unveiling of Jesus Christ, Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's an absolutely amazing series that everybody should go through. It's on End of the Age Plus. We also have it available in physical DVD and a physical book. Because of that, you can unlock the complexity of Revelation and eliminate fear as Irvin guides you through this mysterious book, chapter by chapter. You can get Revelation Volume 1 or Volume 2 for a minimum donation of $150 or 5 interest-free auto donations of $30. That's a $299 value at an unbelievable discount. It's only available this month, so you need to act now while it's available. Go to endtime.com/rev, or you can give us a call at 1-800-ENDTIME. It's 1-800-363-8463. Get the special while supplies last. And you know, Doug, believe it or not, we unfortunately received word that everything that we had available in the warehouse is gone. But we said, you know what, we need to extend it for the people in spite of the fact that the whole while supplies last thing. And so if you do go and take advantage of this special that's only available in July, it will not carry over to August or beyond that. It's only available in July. It'll end July 31st. When you do that, it'll actually go on back order right now, but we're set to get some more next week and then some more the week after that. We're trying to get it rushed through, that way people don't have to wait on it. So you can still take advantage of it, but as long as your transaction's in before July 31st, you will get it at that special rate. So
it sounds like a lot of people are taking advantage of that.
As they should. Irvin Baxter's legacy work, at least one of them, and so really special. A really special series there, but
it really is something that'll change your life. I mean, if you've ever studied the book of Revelation, it's very complex, and you sit there and wonder about things. You know, is there actually going to be a physical dragon rise up out of the sea and things like that?
That makes for a fun thought.
Yes, it does. But he does do such a great job putting that in terms where everybody can understand and grow from it.
All right, well, we've got some stories to share. If you want to join us, the number to call is 1-877-ENDTIME, 1-877-363-8463. Before we go to your calls, the very first story that is just absolutely unbelievable. We were talking about it this morning, and our mouth just dropped when we started talking about the details. Allies of President Joe Biden are pressuring phone companies to censor text messages that might carry disinformation about the administration's response to the pandemic. The Biden administration is taking more aggressive actions against what they consider to be disinformation from critics on their right. Left-wing groups, including the Democratic National Committee, are planning to also engage fact-checkers to fight back against dissenting voices. The administration faced angry blowback after Biden said on Tuesday that the government would go door to door to encourage Americans to get vaccinated. He admitted that he was unable to fulfill his goal of vaccinating 70% of Americans by the 4th of July. In response, many on the right accused Biden of tyrannical government overreach, but Dr. Anthony Fauci replied Sunday by accusing them of misinterpreting Biden's program.
Yeah. I believe, too, that the door-to-door has started here in Dallas County. I think we read an article about that this morning. But, yeah, jaw-dropping information there that the government wants to listen to your, well, I mean, I guess read your text. But, I mean, we already know that they're listening to us to some extent because, you know, you can say something about, you know, an article that you're looking for or something, an item you want to buy, and the next thing you know, it's on your Facebook page, you know. So we know they already listen to our words anyway, but now they want to read your personal text messages.
You know, I would suggest that that has been happening.
Yeah.
Google came out with an app for the iPhone several years ago called the Google Keyboard, and you could install it, and on this keyboard came like a GIF option, and you could, no, it's a GIF, sorry. The people that are anal about that are not going to like that I said GIF. It's GIF. Had a GIF option and a way to search Google, and you could like search Google right in your keyboard while you were texting people. Anyway, don't want to bore everyone with the details. When I installed that app on my phone, when I started to install it, a pop-up came up and said, by installing this app, you agree to allow Google app to record every text message that everything that you type on this keyboard will be recorded. In addition to that, everything you've ever typed on your keyboard on your phone is going to be data that's imported into this app so they can know your, well, they didn't say this part, I'm adding this in, so it can know your behavior and be able to predict things for you. So it's so convenient. And I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to install that app. That's really creepy that, you know, I've had upgrades over the years and, you know, like imported the old phone data into the new phone data.
Oh, yeah.
And that means that they would have my text, anything I've ever typed, anything I've ever searched, anything. It's just like, you know, I don't think I have anything to hide, but I sure don't want them knowing what me and you are texting about some days. Right.
I mean, especially right now, I mean, if you don't line up with their narrative, you know, you're thought of as being an extremist or even you can even be a terrorist nowadays just by not lining up with what they're telling people. And so they're worried about, you know, I mean, I guess they want to know that you're not encouraging someone to do their own research.
Well, that, you know, that is a trigger word right there. Do your own research.
Oh, no.
You're not allowed to say that.
Sorry.
Yeah, when you say that, that indicates that you're a conspiracy theorist.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I apologize.
That's right.
I hope that doesn't go against us.
So we don't want the government to go door to door. There's more to be shared that Dr. Wynn said. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the other side of the break. We'll also get to your calls and your comments on the Facebook feed. If you are on Facebook, hit the share button, hit the heart. It helps us out by breaking the algorithm up a little bit and getting out. But give us a call, 1-877-Endtime, 1-877-363-8463. Major internet companies are silencing and censoring Christian voices online. These companies are trying to control what you see and hear. Almost 200 videos of ours have been marked as restricted online right now. That's why we launched End of the Age Plus, a platform where the truth won't be censored, a platform where we can preach the message of the gospel. When you subscribe to End of the Age Plus today for just $12.99 a month, you can watch all of our content in a secure, easy-to-view way from your favorite device. When you go to watch.endtime.com and subscribe, you'll get instant access to all of our teaching resources, including Revelation, the Unveiling of Jesus Christ, Understanding the End Time, End Time Magazine, and so much more. We will not censor our message to comply with what the world deems as politically correct. Go to watch.endtime.com right now or search End of the Age Plus in the App Store or Google Play.
We've seen Bible prophecy fulfilled like never before. From the halls of the United Nations to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, Endtime Ministries continues to reveal the Bible prophecy in the news headlines around the world every day. Whether it's through our broadcast or online at our Jerusalem Prophecy College, your gifts enable us to put vital materials in the hands of those who need it most. Because of you, we continue to replace fear with faith in the hearts of Christians around the world. We will continue to see prophecy come to pass at an even swifter pace. We need your support. Your donation of any amount enables us to continue to broadcast and be a voice in the ever-growing censored media. To become a partner or give a one-time gift, visit endtime.com or call 1-800-END-TIME right now. That's 800-363-8463. Go online now. Visit endtime.com.
Welcome back to End of the Age. We have open lines at 1-877-END-TIME, 1-877-363-8463. I do want to remind you that Dave, Jana, and Judy, and actually Kara as well, will be in Houston, Texas this weekend. So tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and Sunday morning at 11 a.m. we'll be hosting a prophecy conference there in the Houston area. Please make plans to attend that. You'll be able to have conversation with Dave, ask him your questions. One of the sessions includes that as part of the session, but also he'll be hanging out after the conference so you can meet him there. And of course, Judy hasn't been to many conferences since Irvin passed away. However, she will be at this one, so that's something special that if you're in the area, you should definitely make it out, if for nothing else but to walk by Judy and let her know that you've been praying for her. That's extremely encouraging. So make plans to attend that in Houston. You can learn more about the event, the address, and get directions at endtime.com/events. Now, Doug, we read the story about going door to door and the White House wanting to censor your text messages. This is sounding all too creepy. On top of that, Dr. Nguyen tweeted out, and had a video clip with it, but the copy of the tweet said, here's the major reason we need to go back to indoor mask mandates in grocery stores and schools. Without a reliable system to determine proof of the V word that I don't want to say or YouTube will kick me off. Without proof of that, it's not possible to tell who has or has not been. The honor system does not work.
Yeah. It's really going to be difficult for me to watch with the words. I'm sorry.
Well, as long as the people listening or watching know what you're saying,
yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
We're just trying to beat the computer.
Right. And in the video, it was a CNN video that she was on, and when she was on there, she said that she did not see how we were not going to be able to have the V word go mandatory. So
there you go.
That's their plan, is to make it mandatory. So it may start out, I think, with going door to door to see if anybody needs help with understanding the situation. Man, it's hard to try to work my words around everything. But I think eventually that's their plan, is they want, like they said, they want one in every arm.
There you go.
I'm working on it. Working on it.
Well, I'm sure I'll slip up as well, but some people say jab. That
yeah.
There's some other code words that are used out there in the people that are trying to share information that is anti the main agenda. So I think our viewers know what we're talking about.
I think they do. They're pretty smart.
All right. Well, I guess we should get to the calls.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Charles in Virginia, welcome to End of the Age.
Hey, God bless. How y'all doing?
We're well. How are you doing, Charles?
Oh, good, thanks.
Good.
Hey, I've got two questions, actually, and I'll take the answers off the air. But when I think about the 24 elders, I think about the New Jerusalem, 12 foundations having the names of the 12 apostles, and then the gates having the 12 tribes of Israel. So I was thinking maybe the 24 elders are, 12 apostles, and then the 12 leaders from the 12 tribes of Israel. And then I was also thinking about, when Christ comes back, there's bound to be people still on the earth who took the mark of the beast and worshipped them and all that. So I just wondering what you all think about that too. Will they be allowed to continue into the millennium or whatever? So I appreciate it. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, Charles. Well, I'll take that second question first. So we know from Revelation that if anybody takes the mark of the beast, it says that you're going to be damned. So it also says that you're not going to make it into heaven there. So having said that, when Jesus comes back, we know that there's going to be people that survive, but they obviously are not going to be people that have taken the mark of the beast. We know that Jewish people are going to survive because we see that in Zechariah chapter 14. So we know that there's going to be those survivors. So like 1/3 of Israel will survive that battle. And then there's going to be others, because in Zechariah 14:16 it tells us, and the survivors of those nations that came up against Israel, and they will have to live into the millennial reign. They'll have to go up and worship the Lord at the Feast of Tabernacles every year, or they won't get rain on their land. And so we know there's going to be survivors, but we don't believe that there'll be survivors that took the mark of the beast. For whatever reason, they will not have the mark of the beast, because we know from Revelation chapter, I think it's 14, that tells us that those who receive the mark of the beast will drink from the cup of wrath. So we know that they're not going to be there. So that answers that. There's going to be survivors. We don't know exactly who and why they survive. Some people believe that it'll have something to do with the age of accountability. Could be like the children of Israel that were allowed into the promised land. They were 20 and below, so it could be something like that. We just don't know for sure. Scripture just isn't there to give us that. And the 24 elder question, that's a great analogy. A lot of people believe that's a representative or a symbolic view of the 12 tribes and the 12 apostles. One of the clues that we have in there, and this is a great question that Pastor Baxter answers in that Revelation series we were talking about. He talks about this quite a bit there. But one of the clues here is that they were wearing, that they had on white arraignment, like their clothes were white, and they had crowns on their head. And so these are clues that kind of tell us who they are. So we know they're going to be saints, because in Revelation 19, and let me go there real quick and I'll tell you how we know this. In Revelation 19, when it talks about the marriage supper of the Lamb, it says, "And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white." That's the same garment that these 24 elders have in Revelation chapter 4 and 5. And it says, "For fine linen is the righteousness of the saints." And so that could be a symbolic view of the saints as well, but it could be symbolic at the point that, like you said, with the 12 tribes or the 12 apostles, but we know for sure that these are going to be saints because they're given the same white apparel to wear, and it says that this is the linen. The fine white linen is the righteousness of the saints. Also, another clue is that they have crowns on their heads, and they will bow down and throw their crowns at the feet of Jesus Christ. So it gives us an idea. We just don't have the whole answer there to tell you, 100% fact that this is what that represents, but we know that they are the saints. So I hope that answered your question, Charles.
All right, Doug, and before we get to the next story, William from Facebook wants to know, are you guys at Endtime against the jab? And, like we answer this when people call and ask about it, the answer is fairly simple for us. We are a Bible prophecy ministry. We explain current events through the lens of Bible prophecy. That's what End of the Age is about. And so that's what we focus on. So from a prophetic standpoint, there is no evidence that we've been able to gather that would indicate that it's the mark of the beast. And so we try to clearly proclaim that. In regards to other concerns about it, we recommend that you do your own research. That's the line that people don't like, and make an educated decision, a prayerful decision on what you should do. So as far as end time is concerned, our stance is it's not the mark of the beast. So anything to add to that, Doug, to help clarify?
No, I just agree with you 100%. I mean, we know that it's not because there's several signs that have not happened yet that we know have to happen before the mark of the beast is given out. So.
All right. Well, the Palestinian Authority is ready for direct Israel talks, says Abbas. So this is an interesting story. Mm-hmm. All the crazy things going on, and here comes a peace story.
There you
Seems
go.
like it's been this way for about a decade. Palestinian Authority Minister Hussein al-Sheikh, security liaison with Israel and head of dialogue with U.S., discusses current political situation, next step in jumpstarting Israeli-Palestinian peace process. Civil Affairs Minister Hussein al-Sheikh is one of the leading figures in the Palestinian Authority hierarchy and is one of President Mahmoud Abbas' closest advisors. Al-Sheikh is the point person to Israel in all security matters and chairs the dialogue between the Palestinian government and the United States administration. Al-Sheikh, who rarely gives public statements and has not given a full interview in some years, sat down in his Ramallah office for a wide-ranging conversation that included the current political situation, the next steps in jump-starting the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, and the American role in the conflict and internal security issues.
Yeah, so that's really, that's an encouraging story there to think about it because, before this point, the Palestinians were not even talking about coming back to the negotiation table. They believed that President Trump was one-sided for Israel, and they didn't want to talk about it. So when Biden first was elected as president, came into office, one of the first things he did was reach out to the Palestinian people and try to get them to respond to, coming back to the table. Now, he is going to probably program this whole thing and get it, to where it goes more toward a Palestinian pool to help them kind of come into this. We don't know yet, but as they have said here in this article, they are looking forward to coming back to the negotiating table. They've probably, Vince, looked around at some of these other Arab nations around them that have benefited from this peace deal that they've made with Israel, and they're probably seeing the benefits of it and going, hang on a second, maybe we are missing out on this. And with Trump out of the way, let's see what we can get away with here. So we'll just have to watch that and kind of see, but very interesting at this time, like you said, that's coming out.
Absolutely. All right, we do have open lines at 1-877-Endtime, 1-877-363-8463. I just want to remind you that we offer this show totally free on television, totally free on the radio, totally free on social media, and totally free on End of the Age Plus. And so if you enjoy the stories that we bring, the truth that we always try to bring, we are very committed to telling you the truth no matter how difficult it might be. We want you to know the current events and how they relate to Bible prophecy, and we're always going to be talking about it as best as we possibly can. If you appreciate that, if you want to team up with us, we survive from the goodness of God and partners like you who give every single month, or they give one time randomly. So if you would like to partner with us to help keep End of the Age free, go to endtime.com/give and become a partner with us today. We'd appreciate it very much. All right, we'll go to the phones. Valerie in Illinois, welcome to End of the Age.
Hi.
Hi, Valerie.
Yeah, I have a question to ask you guys. I love Jesus, and I was wondering when he's coming back, and if you could give us a good guesstimate. I know you can't tell exactly when, but a good guesstimate.
Okay.
I'm also, there's one other thing. I'm Catholic, and I'm so thankful for this page. This ministry, because I'm Catholic, and so is my husband, and we love Jesus, and we didn't know about all this going on. So thank you for telling us. And please, I'd just love to know when Jesus is coming back. Thank you very much, and God bless.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you, Valerie.
Doug, that little boy inside of me almost said July 24th, 2021. But that wouldn't be accurate, and I just I just joke too much sometimes. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so one of the things that we understand from Scripture is we know that there's going to be a final 7 years. It's talked about, with the peace treaty like we just spoke of. That's what starts it, that peace treaty between Israel and the Palestinian people. This is going to be the final 7 years, Valerie. And so The Bible tells us that in the middle of that peace agreement, that the Antichrist is going to stop the daily sacrifice. He's going to set up the abomination of desolation. What that is in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it tells us that he will stand in the rebuilt temple of Israel. He'll stop the animal sacrifices. He'll declare himself to be God and to be worshiped as God. And so that will start the last 3.5 years. That happens in the middle of that 7. That starts the Great Tribulation. It tells us in Matthew 24, verse 15 through 21, that when you see that abomination of desolation take place, that this will start the Great Tribulation, unlike anything that we've ever seen before. And then in Matthew 24, 29 through 31, it tells us that immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be dark and the moon won't give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and that we'll see the sign of the Son of Man coming in clouds with power and great glory. He will send his angels to gather his elect. So we believe from Scripture that we can prove that Jesus returns immediately after the tribulation. So at the end of that final 7-year period is when Christ will come back, the second coming of Jesus, and we will be raptured at that point to meet him up in the air and come back with him at the Battle of Armageddon.
What's the date, though?
No one knows.
We need a date.
No one knows the day or hour, so there you go. We don't know.
Well, and here's the good news, Doug.
Yeah.
You don't have to be scared about these events. You don't have to be scared about end-time prophecy. You know, a lot of people don't want to listen to this show. I've had friends tell me, I can't listen to your show because I'm scared of what you guys talk about. And I always try to help them and say, you know, that's not what we teach. You know, some of these events can be scary if we're looking at it in the wrong perspective, but because we know who Jesus is, because if we're born again, we know that, and we don't have to be fearful of the things that are coming. And so that's what we do here at Endtime. We're trying to give you peace and understanding as we navigate these end times. We'll talk more about it on the other side of the break.
Does the book of Revelation frighten you? Do its symbols confuse you? For centuries, the book of Revelation has been misunderstood and misinterpreted. In Revelation, the unveiling of Jesus Christ, Volume 1, Irving Baxter unlocks the mystery of the book of Revelation with in-depth analysis and commentary like you've never heard before. This 10-part definitive DVD series and 268-page comprehensive commentary book covers the first 12 chapters of the book of Revelation, featuring on-location photography, classic artwork, and symbolic illustrations. You'll walk away with complete understanding and peace about the events happening during the final years on Earth. These comprehensive study tools, available for $299, will deepen your biblical understanding as you dig into the original intent of the book, answering the mysterious prophecies and symbols of the book of Revelation. Don't miss this special offer. Call now, 1-800-END-TIME, or go to endtime.com to order. Call or go online now to get this comprehensive Bible study.
Move Mountains with Irving Baxter. This book by Irvin's grandson provides 30 days of devotion that will enhance your relationship with God and others. Authentic illustrations from early morning devotions at Endtime will help you find your purpose and eliminate fears. Commit to taking this 30-day journey and experience real life change. Get your book for only $14.99. Call 1-800-363-8463 or go to endtime.com/move.
If your station only carries the first 30 minutes of End of the Age, go to endtime.com and click the watch button to continue today's broadcast. You can also finish up later by clicking the archive button.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We have one open line at 1-877-363-8463. So if you want to get in, you better call now before it's full, and we won't be able to take your call. Now, as we take calls, lines will open up. Sometimes people hang up, so there's still time for you. But if you want to get on the show today, give us a call at 1-877-END-TIME. Doug, before we get back to the phones, we said we have to share these stories because they are just so insane. We won't go into detail about it, but I just want to read the headlines to you, talk about it for a little bit. We'll get right to the phones. On Newsweek yesterday, This is the headline. No chance, quote, U.S. can stop Chinese invasion of Taiwan, military expert says. That's one story. Right. The second one is China threatens to nuke Japan over Taiwan in video played on CCP, which is the Chinese Communist Party sanctioned channel.
Yeah.
Insane. This feels crazy.
Well, I mean, they're pushing it. They are pushing for war right now. And so these things that are happening, you know, we've got ships out there that are patrolling right offshore of Taiwan. And that was one of the things that China was trying to warn us off of what we were doing there, because we've always promised. I believe that I read since 1958, Vince, if I'm not mistaken, that has been a promise that America has made to Taiwan to protect them and take care of them and keep this invasion from happening. Well, now China has gotten so strong with their military, and of course they're best friends with Iran and Russia, so they have some backup also. And they're not afraid to flex that military muscle. And also, I think that a little bit of it has to do with the weakness that they see in our politics right now. We don't have a strong leader. I mean, personally, I don't feel like we do. We don't have someone who stands up and even speaks well when they're talking to the public. And so these people see this, and China is saying, hey, we're not afraid of America anymore. You guys can't stop us. And we know that there's a war that's coming, the Sixth Trumpet War, and we know that China is probably going to play a big part in that because of their relationship with Iran and Russia. And all these factions are right there in the Middle East too, right there along the Euphrates River with everything going on in Syria and in Iraq and Iran. And so we also know that we don't see China in that one world government beast. They're not there. A lot of people want to say they're the dragon, but we are told in Revelation chapter 12 that the dragon is Satan. And so they're not the dragon there, and they don't appear to be there. If they flex their muscle enough and we go into this war, China could take a devastating blow. And here they are threatening that they will nuke Japan. I mean, that's not just saying, hey, you guys don't want to mess with us. That's saying we're going to nuke you. And in that article, it says we're going to nuke you into unconditional surrender. So that's pretty serious stuff.
You know what ticks me off? This video's on YouTube.
Right.
YouTube will kick us off for saying
the V word.
That and talking about percentages and things like that. They'll take our video off and say, if you do that again, we're going to shut you down for 7 days.
Yeah.
But we can upload videos threatening to drop nuclear bombs on countries and kill children and sick people and any of this stuff, and we'll let that video stay up.
What a world, what a world.
Ticks me off.
Yeah, no,
that doesn't happen at End of the Age Plus, so go to watch.endtime.com. I do want to remind you again that Dave Robbins and Jana Robbins, as well as Judy and Judy's other daughter, Kara, will be in Houston, Texas at an event this week, and we're hosting a conference there on Saturday night and Sunday morning. If you're in the area, make plans to be there. Judy hasn't been to many conferences, but she will be there, and she would love to see you. And she would love if you would come and say hello and let her know that you've been praying for her. She'd appreciate it. The details of that conference is at endtime.com/events. If you're not real good with the computer, you can call us 1-800-ENDTIME. We'll be happy to give you more information about that. Also, if you're on Facebook, please don't forget to share this video. Hit the heart instead of the thumbs up. That helps us break through some of the algorithm and get to your family and friends. And when you share, of course, it goes to all the people that you're connected to, so it does help us out a lot. All right, well, back to the phones. We've got a full queue of callers, and we want to get to you all and open it up for more people to call in. So, Alyssa in Texas, welcome to End of the Age.
Hi, how are y'all?
We're doing great. How are you?
Doing good. My question is on Revelation 12, verse 15 and 16. When it talks about the serpent casting a flood to the woman that represents Israel and the earth swallowed it up, I was just wondering what the flood was representing. Was that like the second coming of Jesus, like the battle that's going to happen, or if there was something that I was missing in there?
Okay, let me show you something, because this is really cool, and that's a great question. I appreciate that question, because that's a really great question. So in Bible prophecy, if you look in Revelation 17, it tells you what waters represent here. And in verse 15 of Revelation 17, it says, the waters which thou sawest were where the horse sitteth are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues. And so if we take that and we apply that over there on Revelation 12, 15, and 16, and it says, the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. One of the things we have to understand here is that woman is Israel, and the serpent, being the devil or the Antichrist, he's going to cast these people out. This water represents the same thing here: nations, multitudes, languages, and tongues. That one world army of the Antichrist is going to come after Israel, and he's going to pour them out like a flood. And when that happens, it says that the earth is going to open up her mouth and swallow up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So remember, in Revelation 11, we hear of this major earthquake that's going to happen. It's going to be an earthquake that's never been like any other earthquake that's ever happened. And it says that thousands of people are going to be killed. 7,000, I think, is what it says there. And it opens up, and it's going to swallow these people up that are chasing after Israel. We believe that that's what that's talking about, and that could actually be that same earthquake that we hear about in Revelation 11.
Okay, thank you so much. That cleared it up perfectly.
All right, well, thank you. We appreciate your call.
All right, we'll go to Darlene in Oklahoma. Darlene, welcome to End of the Age.
Hi.
Hi, Darlene.
I wanted to, hi there. The lady that called in, I think her name was Valerie, and she said she was Catholic. And I just wanted to say, if she's not a member of Jerusalem Prophecy College, that she needs to get that right away and watch those first 3 lessons. Those first 3 lessons are what got me. And I'm on semester 6. I'm not going as fast as everybody else, but
that's okay.
I'm going, and
right.
But now I've got enough under my belt. I'm just doing them, and I'm getting 100s now.
All right, that sounds great.
And so it's just, that's what I wanted to ask. I think she said her name was Valerie, but she needs to get in that Jerusalem Prophecy College immediately. And what I'm trying to do now is just pray that I get through the tribulation, because we're going to go through some of it, if not all of it. And I'm just praying that God will empower me, and I'm those that know their God and do exploits. I'm getting to know God more and more.
Amen. That's good. And that's great advice, Darlene. That's wonderful. If people are, really seeking to learn more and they want to understand more about, like she asked about the end time timeline, if you want to know more about that, that's a perfect way to do it. And you're doing a great job. I mean, you don't have to finish it all at once, so don't worry about that. Just take your time, get your 100s on your quizzes, and keep moving on, because you're learning and you're growing with every lesson.
Yes, and I'm trying to dress more holy, be more holy, because He is holy. I'm trying everything I can and have friendships with people that are learning of the Lord that I can learn from too, and trying the best I can.
Me too, Darlene. I'm trying as well.
Well, Brother Baxter used to always say, do your best and let God do the rest. So just keep doing your best.
That's what he told me too.
Yeah.
But if you can point with one finger where you think we are on that timeline, I really am,
Well, Darlene, that's in course 7 of Jerusalem Prophecy College, so you're almost.
Oh, I got to get there. Course 7.
I'm kidding. I have no idea. I'm just totally messing. We appreciate your call, Darlene. It's always nice to chat with you. Also she mentioned that she's just praying that she gets to the tribulation. She mentioned Valerie's concerns as well. I would just add to what I said earlier, and that we don't have to be concerned. We don't have to be overcome with worry. When we're born again, we can go into tribulations, whether it be the Great Tribulation or just some tribulations that we go through in life. We can go into those situations with total peace, total comfort because we live an open hand and we say, God, whatever trials you bring my way, I'm going to trust in you through this process. And so when we're born again, we can live a worry-free life. It's hard sometimes. It's hard to remind ourselves of those things, but it's certainly available to us. We just need to sincerely seek the Lord and ask Him for that help. If you're not sure if you're born again, we wrote a piece about that to help you understand that. You can learn more about that at endtime.com/reborn. It'll help you know that you're born again and also have peace as you're going through storms of life. All right, back to the phone. Sandra in California, welcome to End of the Age.
Are you there?
We're here.
Hello?
We're here. Welcome to the show.
Anyways, thank you so much, and I appreciate what you guys do. My quick question is, and it might have a long answer, so I apologize for that. You said earlier in the show that we know that the stick or the jab or whatever is not the sign of the beast, and I totally understand that. And you said there are several things that need to occur before then. Is there like a quick little thing you can go over on what those several signs are?
Yes. So, number one, we don't have that peace agreement yet that we're talking about. So that's one of the things that you got to look for. That starts that final 7 years. The mark, when you look in Revelation 13, you can see that the mark is not given out until the Antichrist has been revealed. And like I said earlier, the Antichrist is revealed halfway through that final 7 years. He'll stand in a rebuilt Jewish temple and proclaim himself to be God and to be worshiped as God. Now, after that event happens, then we can start looking for the mark of the beast, because if you look in Revelation 13, it lets us know there's going to be a one world government at that point. It lets us know about that one world government leader. He begins to make war against the saints, against God's people. And it says that he makes war against them and that all will worship the beast, whose names are not written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Well, the saints are the only ones whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life, and we're not going to take that mark because he's making war against us. So those things are going to begin to happen before that mark of the beast is given out.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sandra, if you stay on the line, we can get your email address. I'd like to give you some a few months of End of the Age Plus for totally free, and when we send that invite to you, we'll actually link you to several videos that we've done to help explain that in more detail. So stay on the line there so Sherry can get your information. We'd love to give that to you. All right, we're coming up against a break. We do have some open lines. 1-877-END-TIME is the number to call to talk to Doug and I today. We've got some more information to share with you on the other side of the break, so we look forward to wrapping up today's show. We'll see you after the break.
Most of us walk around day by day blind to the prophecies being fulfilled right before us. Every news report brings a new piece to the puzzle in the race towards the final 7 years and the second coming of Jesus Christ. Now, more than ever, it is important for God's people to understand the times in which we are living. On November the 12th, 2013, we opened our Jerusalem Prophecy College in downtown Jerusalem. These same courses are now available online for people who are unable to attend the classes in person. We welcome students to join us and discover the link between current events and the prophecies of the Bible. Take your place in the prophecy of Daniel 11:33. Enroll in the Jerusalem Prophecy College today. Go to JerusalemProphecyCollege.com.
Welcome back to End of the Age. So glad to have you. We're going to go straight to the phones. Emily in South Carolina, welcome to End of the Age.
Hi, thank you. Appreciate all the work you guys are doing and all the help when I ask questions via email. So thank you. I just had a couple of comments and then a question regarding the jab. It tells you something if people are going door to door to make sure you have it. So that's interesting. And then it's an experiment, and several people I know have gotten it and now have COVID. So the experiment isn't working very well, you know. And then long term, we don't have any idea what it's going to do to our bodies or to our organs, and you know. So it's like I'm just saying. I know you don't say it, but Emily is saying, don't take it. Just don't take it if you haven't gotten
Emily,
it already.
you're gonna get us banned from YouTube if you keep it up.
Yeah.
You're going to get us banned from YouTube if you keep it up, Emily. We appreciate your call.
Thank you.
We always appreciate talking with you. I think
you.
we just spoke with her last week, or maybe it was earlier this week. I don't remember. They run together nowadays.
No,
but
no, actually, you sent me something in the email, and I ordered the second half of the Revelation, too. I didn't get the good deal, but, hey, I don't care. I give to your ministry, so I'm happy to do it.
Well, thank you, Emily.
Also, have you heard of Clay Clark? He explains that luciferase that are in some of the jabs, and it's put into it like lights up so that they can tell if you've gotten it.
Email us that info, Emily, if you don't mind. Thank you for calling.
I'll send it to you.
We do need to move on. We've got several other callers. We want to get to all the different topics that they're bringing. Dustin in Mississippi, welcome to End of the Age.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Glad to see y'all are doing what y'all are doing. Y'all are great help for a lot of people, and keep it up. Just keep it up. My question is on Isaiah 17. I think verse 1 through I don't know where it stops at, but I'm wanting to know, when is that all those events going to be taking place? Is that going to be during the Sixth Trumpet War that's to come in the very near future?
Dustin, we do believe that that's when Damascus is destroyed. I know that's what Isaiah 17 is talking about there. And we do think that is going to tie into the Sixth Trumpet War because that's where that area is where that war is going to emanate from. It's going to come from the Euphrates River area. And so when you read about that destruction, that is one thing that, I mean, we don't have a perfect scripture that says, yes, this is definitely it, but that is an educated guess, and we do believe that's probably when that's going to happen.
Right. I'm on the same thinking as y'all. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Dustin. All right, Charity in Oregon, welcome to the show, Charity.
Hey, thank you. My question was regarding to the shortening of time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I seem to remember that there was a group who got together and they compiled a list of everything that a person would need to do in one day to be healthy. So on a daily basis, basically. And they came to the conclusion that in order to complete this list, you'd need 36 hours. And so I was wondering, could that be evidence of the shortening of days? Because that would mean 1/3.
Well, that's an interesting question. I haven't ever heard that theory before, but you know what? When we look at that shortening of the days, when we look at Matthew 24 and we see it's in verse 22 of Matthew 24, it says, "And except those days should be shortened, there would be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." And here's what I can tell you that we know for sure is that we know that there is a specific number of days that God gives us in the prophecies, 1,260 days, talking about the Great Tribulation. And so we know that he's not going to take away from the number of the days. And so that leads us to believe, like you're saying, that something's going to have to happen that would actually speed time up. And so that's what we believe that Scripture is talking about there, is that God has actually sped up time and we just don't realize it. And we think that's what that particular Scripture in Revelation chapter 9 talking about that fourth trumpet sounding is, that God has actually sped the days up or sped the time up. And so there's actually research out there where they've been studying the speed of light coming from a supernova And you can kind of research some of that and see what you think about that. But it has said that actually the day isn't actually what it's been in the past. A 24-hour day has now been shortened to almost a 16-hour day. Now, whether or not you can take that to the bank and say, okay, we got solid evidence, but it's out there. The research is out there, and people have talked about it. And secular people talk about it, not someone that understands the book of Revelation. So that's out there. But we also believe that this was around the time that the Berlin Wall came down, and that's when we started hearing about this new world order, and it began to speed things up in the prophetic sense as well. So that's the answer that I got. Really the best that we've researched and kind of understood what that scripture is.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because this data only makes sense through Einstein's theory of relativity.
Absolutely. I'm glad you understand that, because I do not. But yes, that's what it's tied to, Einstein's theory of relativity.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Our pleasure. Thanks, Charity. Doug, can you talk more about that Einstein's theory of relativity?
No, I can't.
No, is that it from you?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the extent of my knowledge on that.
All right, well, we will go to Richard in Texas. Richard, welcome to End of the Age.
Hey, guys, did the sixth trumpet war come before the 7-year tribulation period? Irving Baxter, I think, said that it probably could. Do y'all believe that?
We have wondered that for as long as, I guess, Pastor Baxter's been studying.
What is y'all's opinion right now on that?
Our opinion right now is yes, that it's probably going to happen. The thing is, Richard, we know that those two significant prophetic events are getting ready to happen. One is that sixth trumpet war. The other is the peace agreement. We don't know which one's going to happen first, but we do know that sixth trumpet is going to happen before the middle of that final 7 years. So before the abomination of desolation, we know it's going to happen somewhere within there.
Is that is the war that kills 1/3 of mankind, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So all of America needs to seriously take their salvation very serious. With communist China saying they're going to destroy us, I would get down on my knees tonight if they haven't done it yet and get right with God.
That's good advice, Richard. You're absolutely right.
Take care.
Thanks for calling, Richard. Yeah, that's absolutely always important, whether China is involved or not. You know, we need to be sure about that, and that's one reason why we mention endtime.com/reborn so often. You need to be born again. You need to be transformed. And one way the way to do that, we explain it at endtime.com/reborn. So go there and read that and make sure that you know that you're born again. All right, Roy in Florida, welcome to End of the Age.
Hey, guys, how are you? I know you guys don't have much time. We got about, 8 minutes left, so I'm going to make this quick. Hope you guys are doing good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you or tell you over the weekend at some point in time, if you guys can go to InfoWars, INFO Wars, it says there's a Mark of the Beast system officially announced by the UN. Now, it has to do with COVID, so I'll let all the listeners know that it's got to do with COVID. That's at Infowars.com, Mark of the Beast system officially announced by the UN.
Is this Alex Jones going by Roy?
Do what?
Is this Alex Jones going by Roy, secretly plugging the website?
No.
I'm kidding.
His voice would be deeper.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
I wouldn't blame probably maybe, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but no, I'm not. I'm just giving you guys something to go listen to because it's kind of true. I mean, you look at some stuff that's made up. That's what it is. But this is pretty much basically true because Mercon, or whatever his name is, Boris Nelson, and some of the other guys, they've got everything right off the TV so you can see it. So it's not made up. It's there.
Yeah.
It's for you to watch and see. Well, my question is, though, is for the people living in Israel, we want them to do the door knock. We want to do the door knocking campaign, get those people out there, make them flee into Jerusalem, into Israel. Would a good place to be to start too is in the synagogues or places here in America to tell the Jewish people there that are, that go to church, rather than it coming from a Gentile. That maybe if they know people, they're friends with people, family with people, and have it spread by them. To where maybe they could get that message over there and start it sooner and get something in the works. Because if we could save a few more people, the quicker the better.
Well, I mean, Yeah, I mean, it's always great to be able to take the message to anybody that'll hear it. I'll tell you this much, End of the Age plays in Jerusalem. When we went a couple of years ago, while we were on TBN for sure, we were on the air there in Jerusalem. Now, whether or not everyone saw that, I don't know. But, you know, we have the college there as well, and we have many people that attend the college. And so, you know, what you're saying makes sense. If you know a Jewish person that you can reach out to, if you know of a synagogue somewhere and you think that you could get to talk to somebody that belongs to that synagogue, I don't know that they would receive it, you know, just because of their beliefs on Jesus Christ and not believing that he's the Messiah. But we're going to have to get the message out there. And
I'd be able to give the scripture, though, that says, you know, that don't get off your rooftops. Don't run. Don't go back inside. Run for your life. I mean, that's going to be something they would have to believe and know, right? Or no?
Well, they're not going to look at that New Testament at all, probably, Roy. You know, here's one of the things Brother Baxter told us. He had a personal friend that was a rabbi, and he showed him in Daniel where it says in 9:26, it says that the Messiah shall be cut off, and then the prince of the people that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. He showed him that, and he said, we know the sanctuary and the city was destroyed in 70 AD, so that means the Messiah had to come before that. And the rabbi looked him square in the eye and said, I don't know the book of Daniel that well. A rabbi told Brother Baxter that. So people are going to have those blinders on where they're going to hear what they want to hear and respond to it, you know, how they want to respond to it. But we have to try to do our best to reach as many people as we can.
Kind of just like we were living in today's world.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We got our blinders on. Nobody wants to see what's right in front of us.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for calling, Roy. We are just about out of time now. We've got just about a minute left. We appreciate you calling and sharing that information and helping the dialogue occur there. I do want to remind you, if you're in the Houston area, to make plans to attend the conference that we're having. You can go learn more about that at endtime.com/events. Dave will be there, Jana will be there, Judy will be there, and their daughter Kara will also be there. So we've got quite a few people there for you to go out and meet, and we'd just love to see you out there in Houston. Go to endtime.com/events. Also, I want to remind you about the Revelation special. Go to endtime.com/rev to learn more about that. It's a very special offer that we have for you right now. We're doing it in honor of what would have been Irving Baxter's 76th birthday. We thought, what better way? He thought everybody should go through this series, and so let's try to help make that happen. And so go to endtime.com/rev to learn more about that. Doug, you have anything else to add?
No, sir.
No, you looking up theory of relativity there?
Yeah, I'm going to have to study that really well.
All right, well, we appreciate you joining us today. We'll be right back here on Monday at 3 Central. Don't forget to go to endtime.com and watch.endtime.com to keep up with everything going on here at Endtime Ministries and around the world. We'll see you on Monday.
This has been End of the Age, brought to you by the faithful partners of Endtime Ministries. If you're not currently a partner with Endtime Ministries, or if you would like more information, we invite you to call us at 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-363-8463, or visit us online at endtime.com.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page.